The Aleph Beit, or Hebrew alphabet, is a fascinating language that contains 22 letters from Aleph to Tav. This course will explore biblical or classical Hebrew, excluding the vowel points, which were later represented with dots and dashes. The original Hebrew script was written in pictographic form. Pictographs are pictures or drawings which were combined to form words. For example, if you were to write an ox head next to a house, as you see there, then a word would be expressed. The picture simply means strength plus house, which equals father, or known as the strength of the house. Sometime later, the Hebrew language continued to evolve into Middle and Late Phoenician script, then Aramaic square script, and in the 19th century, Hebrew was adapted into the text known today as modern Hebrew. Ultimately, this guide will focus on the biblical Hebrew, including the 22 letters and the 5 additional final forms of the letters Kaf, Mem, Nun, Pei, and Sadi, which are known as Sophit. Reading Hebrew at first will be somewhat like exploring a mysterious language. Let's get our feet wet by decoding the English messages on the following page. Use the code box below to write the correct English letter on the line provided. Helpful hint, you may want to remove this page from your binder and place it next to the messages on the final page, which is located on page 6. Hebrew is different from English with regard to its unique formation of letters and the manner in which it is read. Like most Semitic languages, Hebrew is written from right to left. This will be important to keep in mind as we introduce new words written in Hebrew. Also, it will be important to concentrate on the size and slant of each letter as we learn to write Hebrew using block-style script. First, let's train our eyes by writing the fruit of the Spirit found in Galatians 5, verse 22 through 23, from the right to the left. On this page, the first one is done for you, and then the next 3 include the first letter. At the bottom of the page, you will have a chance for a little more practice by writing your full name from right to left. As we learn more about the Hebrew language, it is important to know the difference between translation versus transliteration. Translation provides the meaning of a word or phrase in one language to the closest meaning in another language. And here are a few examples. Transliteration uses the sound of a word or phrase in one language and matches that sound to another language. For example, if you look at how shalom is written in Hebrew, that would be transliterated for English ears as you see there, shalom, S-H-A-L-O-M. Now here's another example from the Bible. Now keep in mind, we've already discussed that Hebrew is read from right to left, but if you're reading a transliteration of the text, you read it like English from left to right. So here you see the Hebrew text. Down below, or the next one, you'll see the transliteration. Avinu Shavashamayim Yitkadesh Shmecha. The translation for that is a very familiar passage. Our Father who is in heaven, be sanctified your name. Okay? Or some people would say it like in the King James Version, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. So let's put it simply, transliteration matches the sound, translation matches the meaning. Now if you go to the activity pages, you will notice the first set of activity is translation, reading in English. The directions are to begin by simply reading the passage below in the English translation. Then the second part is actually training your eyes for study. The directions for that is to begin at the far right, because Hebrew is read right to left, and you're to draw a circle around each time you see the letter that resembles an English X, but it looks like this. This letter is called Aleph and will be discussed further in Unit 2. Aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So as you go through circling all of the Alephs, which look like an X in English, on the next page there's a question. How many total Alephs do you see are circled on the previous passage? So go ahead and write your answer there. Then the part 3 of the activity is the sounds of the Hebrew letters. So in the transliteration, that's what we're dealing with now, the instructions are to underline each time you see the word Elohim. Keep in mind that transliterations, again, are read from left to right as we read in English. At the bottom, the second question is, how many times did you underline Elohim in that passage?